Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. This is not just a lieutenant in Phobos armor with combi-weapon. This is one of my most favorite miniatures in the Leviathan box. I think it looks super cool, it's full of detail, and I really like the concept of this miniature. I also like the rules associated with it, so this is a miniature that I really want to be part of my lists if possible. And that's why right now I'm going to do my biggest effort in painting this miniature in the best way possible. So first step, it will be of course prime the miniature with Chaos Black, because of course this is going to be one of my Black Templars, and let's proceed with the video. Okay, so we have the miniature already primed, and as it has a lot of details, I'm going to divide the paintwork, so it will be easier for me to do and it will be easier to explain. So first of all, I'm going to do the base of the miniature, then I will paint the Tyranid, and then I will paint the Lieutenant himself. So for the base of the miniature, first of all, I'm going to use this technical paint, Technical Azurite Debris. It's the one that I use for most of my Black Templars, and because of consistency I will use this one, because I want this miniature to match into my army. Then for all of these rocks that we can see in the base, I will use first of all Etching Grey, it's like a darker grey, then I will use Dawnstone, that it's lighter grey, and finally for doing some highlights I will use the Wraithbone. So that's what I'm going to do with the base. Let's start painting this miniature. And now that we have a nice rocky base, it's the time for the next step, and it's going to be painting this poor Tyranid in the base of the miniature. So for that I will follow the color scheme that I use for my Tyranid. So I will use first of all Cantor Blue to all the hard parts of the Tyranid, like basically this that we can see over here. Then I will use Demonite Hide to the soft or skin parts of the Tyranid, that it's going to be in this case the tentacles. And in this case I'm going to add Ahriman Blue to the brain parts of the Tyranid. And after that I will apply some shade. Basically I'm going to apply Null Oil for the blues, and I'm going to apply Truchy Violet for the violet or the skin parts. And after that the miniature should start looking much nicer, so let's proceed and let's continue with this miniature. This is starting to look like one of my Tyranids, so the process is going well, and now it's the time to add some highlights. And for that, as usual, I will use some Alayotic Blue for all the Cantor Blue areas, and then I will use some slightly Ahriman Blue in the areas that I want to highlight the most, not only in the Cantor Blue areas but also here in the brain, because as you can see, after applying some Null Oil it's much darker, so like this I will add some nice highlight. And for the skin or the tentacles I will use Slanesh Grey. And after that it should look quite nicer, so let's hope for that. This miniature is starting to look good. I'm starting to be very happy with how it's looking. And now it's the moment to start painting the lieutenant himself, and for that I'm going to start with lead belcher. I will use this metallic color for the inside parts of the power armor, like this one here or this thing that we can see here. And of course some details in the power armor will be with that color as well, as I with the blades, and some details in the weapon. And of course I'm going to use as well corn red, because of course this is the one that I use for the weapons of my Black Templar, so he's not going to be any different. I will use this one for the weapons, the outside part of the shoulder pad, and of course we have here this arm. For this arm, for the Tyranid parts, I'm going to use exactly the same color scheme that I use for the Tyranid in the bottom, so it will be consistent, and let's do it. It should look great after that. The miniature is starting to get some color and some personality with it, but of course there's a lot of things to do. There's so many details here, so let's continue with the miniature, and for that I will use Runelord Brast. I will use it for the flamethrower part of the combi-weapon, maybe here as well, I will see. And then I will use Balthasar Gold, and I will use it as well for the combi-weapon and for this small skull detail that it has here. And I will use Retributor Armor as well for the highlighting of this small skull. And then it will be very important, I will use Morphon Brown for every single strap of the miniature, and of course these things that it's carrying, the part of the blades here, that I will also make some details with some metallic color, but of course I prefer to do like the brown parts before doing some metallic in it. And after that I will use Agrax Air Sheet into the things that I'm going to paint brown, and the small skull as well. So after that it should look even nicer. Let's continue with the miniature. And now it's a good moment to continue shading the miniature, and that's why I'm going to use null oil in all the metallic areas of the Lieutenant, so let's proceed with that. It is starting to look better, but it still looks quite sad, so let's add some highlights to the miniature and try to make it more nicer. And let's go by parts. First of all, I'm going to use Sables and Scarlet for all the red parts of the miniature. Then I will use, again, Morphan Brown for the brown parts. I mean, this is the color that I use for the base, but of course I applied null oil over it, so this is right now like a darker brown, so this one should be able to highlight it a little bit. Then of course Stormhost Silver for the metallic parts, and for the black power armor, the usual that I do for my Black Templars. First of all, Dark Reaper in every single edge of the power armor, and then I will apply some Fenrisian Grey in the parts that I want to be the most highlighted. And after that, hopefully the miniature should look much more interesting, so wish me good luck and let's do it. And now it's the time to paint the face of the miniature. I'm not very skilled with that, so I will try my best so it will look as good as possible. I will start by applying some Wraithbone to cover the black basically. Then I will apply some Kislev Flesh, and then I will add some Agrax Earthshade. And after this one I will go back and add a little bit Kislev Flesh to do the highlights of the face. But my main goal here is that it won't look too bad, because as I said, I usually paint my miniatures with helmets, so I will try this one to look not bad. Okay, so I'm happy with the head of the miniature. I'm not very skilled with painting human heads yet, but I'm happy because it doesn't look that bad, and I tried to use too much like contrast between the shadows and the let's say the characteristics of the face, so it's like you kind of see that they are there, but it's too dark, so you cannot see that. I don't know how to do them properly, so it's like it's okay. And now what I'm going to do is I will use basically corn red. I will use that for the knife and also for the cross in the shoulder pad. And then for the knife I will use creamer pink. I think that it should look nice. And for the markings in the shoulder pad I will use Evil Sun Scarlet as well. I already made a video showing how I do the shoulder pads of the Black Templar, so I will leave it in the description and you can check it there, but right now I will just do it here in the shoulder pad of the miniature. So let's continue, it's looking nice. And after finishing the shoulder pad, adding some grass to the base and polishing some details, I'm going to consider my lieutenant with a combi-weapon as finished. It's a great miniature, it's full of detail, it's amazing, and I'm super happy with it. It looks great. And as I said, this is probably one of my most favorite miniatures in the whole Leviathan box, and I think that everyone that has this lieutenant is super lucky because it looks great. I'm in love with this miniature. I'm super happy with it, and I actually cannot wait to play with this miniature. It looks great, and this is the moment that you can let me know what you think about my lieutenant in the comments. So if you are still here, please consider giving me a like and subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.